You a dollar, you. You dollar, you.
Hey, let that shit ride, Ty.
Bitch, go right there. I'ma take him down through there. Let him see how I really get down. I do better with nobody around. CEO build my shit from the ground, the king of the mountain. I'ma take him down through there. Let him see how I really get down. I do better with nobody around. CEO build my shit from the ground, the king of the mountain. I'ma take him down through there. Cottonwood where it started for me. First fight at the end of the street, on God, I was 6 years old, no CAP. Hey, mama stood right there, said he gon' be letting of the hood right there. Go mixed with a bull right there, tow truck, that nigga got pulled right there. Hey, yeah, I'ma take him down through there. Look, man, my role models, all of them dead. Got me fucked up all in the head, go to sleep with the blick laying out on the bed. Yeah, I'ma take him down through there. Finna read, don't trust, no hope. Heart been stepped on and broke, but I bet you that shit.
Welcome, my CyntSaidIt gang. You guys come on in. Yes, welcome. This is a preloaded video, okay? I was supposed to go live, you guys. I apologize for that. So, yes, I will be going live tomorrow, you guys. Let's get to it, my shout outs. Yes. Yeah. I got some shout outs. Shout out to my big truck drivers out there. Let me tell y'all about my big truck drivers, you guys. They are downloading episodes off that Spreaker app like no other, baby. I have over 226 episodes being downloaded, and my big truck drivers are responsible for that. Thank you all. I see the love. I see the DMs from y'all. I hear you all. Hit that like button. Make sure you follow me, you guys, on those major platforms. And now I'm also now on iHeartRadio. Yes, thank you all. My new subs come in. Shout out to y'all. I see y'all. Shout out to my day ones. I see y'all. Shout out to my mods. Always holding it down. Yes. Shout out to all of y'all. My supporters. My haters for viewing, running my views up. Thank you all. I appreciate it. More than you know. Yes. Shout out to each and every one of you all. I'm telling you all. When I saw the stats and I got an email from iHeartRadio saying that I am now on iHeartRadio, you guys go follow me. Look for the CyntSaidIt podcast. Follow me. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Cut the music. Yes. I just had to just shout y'all out. Y'all deserve it. Okay. Deserve it. Okay. So before I even get started to get to the content on this video, because this is going to be a short video, you guys. It's not even going to be a long drawn out video because I'm not live. This is going to be a brief video, but I wanted to just update you guys on the Ahmaud Arbery's the killers and on that hate crime, that the trial. And again, you all know we talked about this in the previous videos that I already in the previous lives on the Ahmaud Arbery trial, when I covered it from beginning to end. We've already spoke on how they basically, William Brian Rhodey and Michael McMichael and Travis McMichael, they all kind of cornered him in, did the same thing allegedly, just like Zimmerman did to Trayvon Martin. Ran him down, hunted him down, gunned him down. This incident, they kept using the phrase, we caged him in like a rat. And this is what got the jury. What got the jury also, and this is all allegedly, but I'm going to drop the link. The jury was upset because they kept using the N word, okay, and over and over and over. And so, and I really applaud Ahmaud Arbery's mom in this, because she did not, let up on it. She kept her foot on their neck and told them, no, I need you guys to see what type of racist men that these, they are, because they tried to portray in the criminal trial that they were this way, they wasn't racist, blah, 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 whatever. Well, where, baby, it got real in this hate crime trial. So everything was able to come out in the hate crime trial, from the text messages to social media posts, and all this on how really racist they were. Like saying some things like really, really just lets us further know, you guys, that how racist people still have the mindset they have. Still racism do still exist, but there are white people also that are tired of it. And so this jury proved that they are tired of it, because this was, again, a jury selection of predominantly Caucasian. So yes, I definitely want to get to this and show you all. I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on. So that we can take a look at it. Exactly what. And I think this is CNN who reported it, you guys. And shout out to CNN. And let's get to it. Let's see what they had to say.
A jury has found all three men who killed Ahmaud Arbery guilty on a federal hate crime charge. Want to get your reaction to that before we go out back to our reporter Nadia there on the scene.
Well, the jury has spoken, and this federal jury has determined that these three defendants, the McMichaels as well as the Bryant, are guilty of willfully interfering and intimidating Ahmaud Arbery and depriving him of his rights. Why? Because he's African American. Why? Because he is Black. And the jury has finally spoken and called these three men what they are, and that is guilty, and that they were motivated by racial hate and anger and animosity.
Talk about the symbolism here in this verdict, because these men were already facing life behind bars, right? Nadia, what more can you bring us, and if you can delve deeper into the symbolism of this verdict here?
Yeah, Bianna, so I want to break this down for you. Had the interference of rights, right, which is one of the charges. All three men found guilty of that. And that's something that we saw in the video, how they used their vehicles to trap Ahmaud Arbery on that street. And he didn't have anywhere to go. As the prosecution lawyer said, if he would have went onto private property, he would have been on private property. That would have been a crime. So he had nowhere to go on that public street. They trapped him in. And Travis McMichael said to police, "We trapped him like a rat." That was repeated over and over again in the courtroom. We also saw this charge of a conviction, guilty on all counts for all three men on kidnapping. A lot of people have this image of kidnapping someone like Hollywood, where you throw a bag over their head and you take them off. It doesn't need to look like that in order to be kidnapping. That's what the jury found. And then the last count was on having weapons being used during the act of a crime, a violent crime. And those were charges against the Travis McMichael and Gregory McMichael. Roddy Bryant did not have a gun, so he was not included on that count. But the jury saw this exactly the way the prosecution wanted them to see this, that these men were motivated and fixated on race. And they talked about how not only were they racist, but they seemed to fascinate themselves with the idea of revenge killing against Black people, that they wanted to somehow find a way to kill a Black person. And that was said through social media posts and through text messages when all three of the men used racial slurs like the N-word to talk about Black people as a whole, to make fun of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and to go on and on and on about their dislike, their hatred for Black people. So when they saw Ahmaud Arbery, the prosecution and the jury agreed that they saw a criminal. They saw someone who did not deserve to be in their neighborhood, who shouldn't be there, and they felt that they had the right to stop him. And when he didn't stop, they felt they had the right to then kill him. And what was pointed out during this case by the prosecution were the moments after Ahmaud Arbery laid on the ground with bullet holes in his chest, bleeding out, his last gasp of air on this earth. And what did those three men do? Did they rush to him? Did they give him aid? No. The prosecution said that they would have treated a dog who got hit by a car better. They would have had more dignity for that dog than they did for Ahmaud Arbery as he lay on the ground, bleeding out, dying. This was an emotional trial, not just for the family of Ahmaud Arbery, but for the millions of people around the world who saw that video of Ahmaud running for his life and then thinking to himself, I've got to survive. So trying to take that shotgun that was pointed at him and trying to disarm the McMichaels from killing him, that's when he was shot and killed. We saw that viral video. This is when the case really took off, and so many people started weighing in on what should happen. Bianna, the jury saw this exactly the way the prosecution did, exactly the way that Ahmaud Arbery's family saw it, and we know that tomorrow is the 2-year mark of his death, the day that he was murdered, not far from here in Satilla Shores. Bianna?
A grim anniversary, of course. And I want to go back to Bernarda and talk about that question that I raised earlier about the symbolism that this verdict means, because obviously these men had been facing decades, if not life, behind bars anyway. But what kind of message, what kind of precedent, in fact, does this send now?
So this is a completely different case and a completely different message that's being sent to the country. This federal trial forced Americans and forced those jurors in that courtroom that were deliberating and everyone else that was part of that trial and observing that trial to speak about racial tensions, to speak about racism, to speak about racist hate, to speak about the motivation that even on February 23rd, we're talking about 2020, that despite having an African-American president in the past, despite the history that we've been through, that still in 2020, racism exists, and it still exists to the point that because of a person's color, their race, their creed, that they can still be hunted down as if they were animals. And that's the message that it sends. It's completely different than the state trial where we saw what was depicted, which was the violence, but more of what was in the mind of these defendants and what drove them to have the audacity to chase down this man that they did not know. You did not know their mother, their family, their friends, what he's been through. But because of how he looked, they determined that they wanted to be judge, jury, and executioner.
Bernarda, as a legal expert, I'm just curious, aside from the defense arguments and what we heard from the prosecution, what impact at all did Ahmaud Arbery's family being there day in, day out for, as we noted, nearly 2 years? Tomorrow marks that tomorrow marks the 2-year anniversary of his murder. What impact does that have on a jury and just the ambiance in a courtroom like that?
Oh, having the family of the deceased present in a courtroom doing a trial has an enormous effect. I tried homicides in Brooklyn, New York for 10 years, and it makes a huge difference when you have the family there because you're showing these jurors that, yes, you can't talk to the jurors, but you're seeing that the family member, that this person that we're talking about that died had a family. This person is human. This person has loved ones. This person and his family are looking at you to hold the person accountable and give them some form of solace, because justice, in the sense of justice, would have been this not happening to begin with. But what it shows to them is that, please look at the family. This man, Ahmaud Arbery, mattered.
And Nadia, we also see the impact and role that technology played in this case as well. It wasn't just hearsay where people said, I heard them use these racially explicit words and negative behavior on their part. The jurors actually had tangible proof via text message here, and that no doubt resonated and played a role in their ultimate decision too.
It absolutely did, Bianna. And if I could answer the last question you asked about the impact of the family, seeing them day in and day out, I want to remind everyone that there was a moment there where the prosecution could have accepted a plea deal by the defendant and we would not have had this trial. But it was Ahmaud Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, who said no. Do not accept a plea deal. I want this to go to trial. She said she wanted the world to see who the men were who killed her son, because those social media posts and text messages that you're talking about, Bianna, were not really included in the state trial. The state focused on that viral video of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. They didn't dive deep into the racial aspect. And his mother, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, said the world needs to know who these men are and who they were when they killed my son. That's why we have this federal hate crimes trial. So the impact, the significance of having a family dialed in and talking to the prosecution and being vocal mattered so much in this particular case. To your second question, Bianna, about the impact of social media and text messages, it showed the jury who these men were, not just on the day that they encountered Ahmaud Arbery, but for the years leading up to them. It showed them the 20 witnesses that the prosecution brought forth who also could corroborate those statements that they made in text messages and those social media posts, that these men were racist to the core. That's what the prosecution was trying to prove. And they did so in every form imaginable, even in one-on-one conversations when they thought they were around an audience who would agree with them, going into racial rants against Black people. There were so many instances where people came forward and said, I had this conversation with Travis McMichael. I had this conversation with Gregory McMichael. This is what they said to me, to add to the case that the prosecution was laying out that these men were racist. And you could see it. And it was so impactful in the courtroom when the prosecution read exactly what was written in those text messages or in social media verbatim. So as I would say, they said the N-word, the prosecutor said the actual racial slur. And you could feel the sting, how heavy it was in the courtroom as she said it over and over again, because they used the word over and over again so freely, so loosely, and you could see the jury shrink in their seats as it was said over and over again. The text messages, the social media posts, they were so important to this particular trial.
All right, now I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second, okay? And I want to briefly talk about that. And again, I'm not going to make this a long video. I definitely wanted you guys to see what they were saying in the courtroom and what's going on with these three guys and how they dug off into details. I like how they did that with this hate crime trial versus the criminal trial. In the criminal trial, a lot of this stuff couldn't come out. So, you know, and shout out to his mom for making sure that these things definitely got exposed in this trial. Okay. So yes, definitely you guys wanted to show you all the video on that and just to give you all an update. And if you have not heard the verdict on yesterday, that they were found guilty. Okay. And that is Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Rody Bryan. Okay. So I will be back on tomorrow going live, you guys. And I want to again say thank you all, each and every one of y'all. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys more than you know. My big truck drivers, I can't even get it out, you guys. I can't get it out. I'm so excited. I'm going to break it down tomorrow on my live, and I'm going to show you all why I'm so excited about the Spreaker app. So if you have not downloaded that app, download it. This is free. Okay. All my major platforms are there. Okay. So, and hit the like button. Absolutely. Hit that like button as you enter, hit the like button. Okay. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, it is absolutely free. Go ahead and do so. So yes, I'm going to conclude this video. And again, I will be going live on tomorrow. We're going to be talking about breaking generational curses, as well as cemetery negligence, you guys, because what I observed on yesterday, and I will talk about it, didn't sit well with me. We're going to talk about that as well as the ACLU and them requesting $3.4 million for the immigrants. It's another slap in our face. Okay. So yes, until I go live, I will definitely see you guys then. And until next time, yes, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.
It's too nasty.